Welcome, friends, to a fascinating adventure through the wonders of ancient Egypt. If you're passionate about history and want to discover more incredible stories, don't forget to follow our channel. Please support us by subscribing, liking, and leaving your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps us bring you even more amazing journeys into the past. Egypt, with all its mysteries and ancient history stretching back over 3,000 years, always draws us into a glorious past. A time when over 300 pharaohs ruled the greatest empire of that era. But among all those rulers, one stands out. A pharaoh whose reign was marked by peace, prosperity, and groundbreaking innovations in art and architecture. That ruler was Hatshepsut, and unlike the others, she was a woman. She's the only woman who ruled Egypt for 22 years and became a symbol of inspiration for women throughout history.
So how did a woman rise to the highest position in a male-dominated empire? Well, her path to the throne wasn't exactly traditional. She didn't inherit it peacefully. She took it. The throne was already occupied, but Hatshepsut had her sights set on becoming Egypt's sole ruler.
In 2007, the Secretary-General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities made a sensational announcement. He claimed they had finally identified Hatshepsut's mummy, but many scholars disagreed. They were stunned by the conclusion. The position of the mummy's arm was unusual for a queen, suggesting something didn't add up. That sparked a deeper investigation into Hatshepsut's life, a journey that took us back 3,500 years.
So why was her name erased from history? Why were her monuments systematically destroyed? And, who was behind it? Some believe it was all part of an effort to rewrite history, an act of persecution to wipe out her legacy, but, through archaeological evidence and ancient witness accounts, we begin to uncover the truth about this exceptional ruler. In fact, we get a rare glimpse into her personality. Something incredibly uncommon in ancient Egyptian history. If we could meet one person from ancient Egypt, many would choose Hatshepsut. His statement sparked huge debate and skepticism in the archaeology world. Could it really be her? The scientific evidence was interesting but not conclusive. So why all this fascination with Hatshepsut? Experts agree she was one of the most powerful rulers of the ancient world. And yet most people today have never even heard of her. To understand why, we have to go back to the 19th century, when the Western world became obsessed with ancient Egypt. French scholar Champollion, who cracked the code of the hieroglyphs, allowed ancient Egypt to speak for the first time in centuries. On one of his trips he discovered the Deir el-Bahari temple, buried in sand, yet covered with images of a pharaoh referred to in the feminine form. This was unheard of. A female pharaoh, it was shocking. And that pharaoh, as it turned out, was Hatshepsut. It took 20 years to fully uncover her temple, which held secrets going back 3,500 years. Back in 2007, Egypt's then Minister of Antiquities, Zahi Hawass, held a major press conference in Cairo and made a groundbreaking declaration. This is the most important discovery since Tutankhamun. We have identified Hatshepsut's mummy.
On the temple walls were carvings detailing the divine birth of Hatshepsut, a sacred myth where the god Amun impregnates her mother in a symbolic union. This wasn't just a myth. It was political propaganda meant to justify her claim to the throne.
Hatshepsut wasn't the first queen to claim divine birth, but she was the first to depict herself fully as a god-king. Something bold and honestly unprecedented. Excavations in the 1920s at Deir el-Bahari revealed a large pit filled with broken statues of Hatshepsut. Someone had deliberately destroyed them, even gouging out her eyes from the carvings. But who wanted to erase her? And why?
In 1961, a Polish team began restoring the temple. As the sands were cleared, Hatshepsut's story re-emerged, one of Egypt's most fascinating women.
She came to power after a period of chaos in Egypt when foreign rulers known as the Hyksos had controlled the north. Her grandfather Ahmose I expelled them and restored Egypt's independence. Her father, Thutmose I, continued this mission. Hatshepsut was his daughter with the great royal wife. Her name means foremost of noble ladies. She was clearly beloved by her parents, and her father even took her north to present her to the people and the gods as his successor. But when her brothers died young, the next in line was Thutmose II, son of a secondary wife. To prevent family division, he was married to his half-sister, Hatshepsut, a common practice to secure the royal bloodline. Thutmose II became king, and Hatshepsut became his queen. They had a daughter named Neferura, but the true heir, Thutmose III, was born to another wife.
When Thutmose II died young, his son, just 4 years old, was too young to rule. That's when Hatshepsut stepped in as regent.
But soon she took full control and became pharaoh. This was unprecedented. A woman was now ruling Egypt, not just as a queen, but as a king. She even dressed like a man and wore the pharaoh's traditional false beard.
One of the most revealing inscriptions about her reign is found in Aswan, where she's shown commissioning 2 massive obelisks, a task only a pharaoh could assign. At Karnak Temple, Hatshepsut cleverly used religious rituals to secure her legitimacy. In one story during a festival, the statue of Amun seemingly leaned toward her, a divine sign that she was chosen to rule. For us, this might seem like stagecraft, but for ancient Egyptians, it was real. Still, not everyone supported her. Some saw her reign as an offense, and later attempted to erase her from history.
But how did she really look? Statues show her evolving over time, at first proud to be depicted as both woman and king, but gradually her feminine features faded in art, and she was shown with more masculine traits, an intentional shift to solidify her image as pharaoh. Among over 300 pharaohs in Egyptian history, only 5 were women, and Hatshepsut ruled the longest. Why did she go to such lengths to reshape her identity? One reason was power, the need to be seen as equal to any male ruler.
To prove her worth, she launched a massive building program. She restored temples, built monuments, and commissioned grand architecture. Her most iconic creation is the Deir el-Bahari mortuary temple, truly a masterpiece of New Kingdom design. She also restructured parts of Karnak Temple to emphasize her devotion to Amun and her rightful place as his chosen ruler. Her message was clear. She was destined to rule, chosen by the gods, and protected by divine power.
One of her closest allies was her chief architect, Senenmut, a man with over 90 titles and likely the tutor of her daughter Neferure. Some believe their relationship went beyond politics. He never married, and his tomb lies just below her temple. A rare honor. Was he her secret lover? Maybe, but one thing is certain, he was deeply loyal.
The final mystery of Hatshepsut's disappearance may be tied to the end of the 19th century. When French archaeologists in Cairo discovered artifacts in antique markets that clearly belonged in royal tombs, it became obvious. Someone had looted and sold parts of her story. Finally, thank you so much for listening and exploring Egypt's secrets with us. If you enjoyed this journey, please subscribe, like and comment. And don't forget to follow the channel for more amazing stories.